Alright, so we've got Tempires up against Rotten here, aka Lebo. So Tempires sporting as the purple Roman player today. Rotten, the artist formerly known as Lebo, sporting as the green Persia player. Alright, so we're back here. Just was checking Discord quickly. I might play a game with Keist with a special limitation up next. No military till age 3. So Tempires going to be looking to add a barracks. Rotten already has his at the moment. The players going to open very aggressively here. I definitely need to get water after this game. It's starting to get a bit cotton-mouthed. So Castellum here for Tempires. In fact, give me 2 sec, guys. I'll go get water now while they're training units. Alright, so we're back, and a couple of sparrow here for Rotten, a spear here for Tempires. They're just scouting out the map for the time being, bringing home their sheep that they're finding. A Roman player gonna need to transition to gold gathering a little bit quicker than our Persian player, in fact. The Roman spears just outright 10 resources more than the Persian spiral. "15-second train time versus 15, so that's even. Rotten transitioning to the wood now, but he's going to need to build a house ASAP here. Tempires charging across, got 3 spears. Rotten being patient, this is going to work out for him because he's actually 5 sparrow to 3 spears. Tempires isn't actually going to want to take this trade. He's trying to just micro single out a sparrow here. Lebo having added another house, but he's going to need to add another one. Tempires training well through all this. He's a little bit of population ahead of Lebo, 16 to 15. So Lebo is actually leading eco production. Down on overall production, but Tempires' units are a bit scattered. So age 2 coming in for Lebo here. Tempires got the resources for it, so he'll be looking to go for it once this villager finishes, I imagine. Looking to get onto the stone now. Kind of spearman production there. Oh, he's still got a couple more in the queue. Gonna spend what's he's got left of gold. Tempires not quite pushing out, but I think he's assuming that Lebo will be switching to that next hunt. So 7 Spira, 9 Spears, well 8 Spira now. He's going to push the first hunt, but Lebo's already transitioned to the next one. There is still food at this deer though. Tempire's moving to his own second hunt. Not actually using the engineer for anything at the moment. A little bit of a way off getting his town centre. Lebo actually already has his. It's 9 versus 8 here. Lebo's got to be careful to not actually waste too much of this running. Because he's exposing his villagers here, so he's going to have to try and micro them around. Now he's on even numbers with the Spira, so he doesn't want to actually lose any vills here. And now he's actually got unit advantage, so this might work out for him. 21 to 23, will count in favour of Lebo. Neither player producing any military. Tempires banking a fair bit of wood because he needs to still get the stone for his TC here. Lebo going to try and focus down individual villages here. Tempires trying to focus down individual villages of Lebo's here. So 22 to 22 is the vill count. Oh, another couple of spears falling. 23 to 21 in favour of Tempires. TC does finish up there. And stable's on the way now for Rotten as well. So Castellan for Tempires. That's all he's got for the time being. Already got his pickaxe upgrade, but no handsaw. I reckon he can probably afford handsaw at the moment. Lebo, on the other hand, handsaw and no pickaxe. And he can afford it, but I think he's probably best off just adding a range as well as the stables. Just utilising the super quick production that Persia allows. Tempires going to add a bunch of spearmen. Getting another Castellum as well. Putting that engineer to work. Tempires just adding spears. Got a range here for Lebo. Now he does have pickaxe. Stables as well, but I haven't really actually seen him training the Asabara out of it yet. I'll be waiting on the gold for that. Tempire's actually banking a bit of gold in the meanwhile. Probably get out a third Castellum instead, or now that we're going to start to see a fair bit of ranged from Lebo, Tempires might be best off getting a Praetorium and getting some Decurions, getting an auxiliary camp to get slingers. In fact, he cancels the auxiliary camp to go for a Praetorium. Spearman here for Lebo though, so he'll be able to deal with Decurion raids. Tempires trying to push with everything. If he can catch a couple of spears out and kill them and then back out, that'll even be nearly as worthwhile as actually picking off villagers at the hunt. Because Lebo doesn't have everything together at the moment. The players both sort of building towards each other here. Bit of a merry-go-round this map. Tempires just trying to get a bit of vision there. Lebo looking to move out. Actually get on this berries. It's a very forward position. He's still got plenty of food here and off to the side of his base. But I guess if he gets aid tent, it can actually be a real defensive boon. Both his opponent's army will be trying to focus down the villages, and the storehouse will be healing units around it. So we might see a bit of an engagement here. Lebo, careful to lead with the Asabara because of the spearman. So a bit of damage being dealt. And now he can even pull that Asabara a little bit closer to the storehouse and heal him up. Unaware that Tempires is actually gathering over here. Tempires not training anything at the moment. 47 to 41 Vil count in favour of Lebo. If there's any raids or anything else going on. There is an Asabara here though. It looks like Lebo did have a bit of a prod at Tempires at some stage there. Not actually healing up this Asabara though. It's a bit of a waste of A10. Decurion's now end. We're going to soon see Slinger production here for Tempires. He's getting a little bit gold starved. Lebo, get him back to the range of the aid tent, please. And this one too. Make it worthwhile. Show me high level Persia. So some Decurions in the mix. Tempire's not taking the greatest of fights though because his army's so scattered. So Lebo getting another couple of kills just for a little bit of damage, and now he's actually starting to heal units up. But this guy he could bring home, heal him up, give him a buddy or two, and then come and raid this again. Tempires in the meanwhile could look at maybe sending a Decurion or two around the long way to come and harass somewhere. But Lebo's over on these berries. He is also wanting to keep everything together for a big push. But right now Lebo's got army top lead, so he's still sitting comfortably. And he's starting to creep forward. Unaware still about this hunt, so Tempires will have to be very careful if Lebo doubles back. He's a bit unfortunate to not punish this. But I suppose that's the downside of not just instinctively scouting it just to check. Lebo trying to wall in Tempires. Starting another Castellum at the moment. I was going to add something over here, but he's just cancelled it. Now Lebo is seeing. Villagers trying to dodge the army here while Tempires is bringing everything across to try and save them if he can. But the bowman might be able to get a volley off here. In a way it might be a bit of a bait here for Tempires. I've been saying that this bowman ball for Lebo getting a lot of damage off. There's not a huge backline of slingers and they're not focusing down the bowman. Tempires population taking a bit of a hit here. Overall he does end up losing the fight. The Curions take a little bit to go in on the backline. The bowman sitting back here, that's giving Tempires a bit of relief here, but now he's going to have to retreat because there's no way he can deal with this damage. So Tempires did stop that wall off. Lebo trying to say, that's my gold, man. Go find your own. So Tempires, his vision's pretty good. Lebo, Tempires is playing so expansively and Lebo's not really punishing it. He did take a better fight there, but he didn't actually really get all the villages in the end, I don't think. So 53 to 70 though. Tempires, eco, and his army count lacking relative to Lebo. Getting wheelbarrow now. I don't know if he's got any armories just yet. He's got that double range. Persia strong. More spears here for Tempires. So they're going to be great against the Asabara, but at the same time, more vulnerable to the bowmen than the legionaries will be, considering they've got a little bit of pierce armor. And Lebo's got his own infantry, a fair few spears and spara. Doesn't have a huge number of Asabara, because there's not a huge number of slingers here for Tempires. It's even more bowmen and spear population there. So Tempire's going to try and raid. I hope Lebo responds just by pushing rather than pulling everything back to try and deal with it. Because he's got the army size too. He's at 160 pop. Whereas Tempires only at 123 at the moment. Lebo will be looking to add his third town center. Oh, Tempires might actually be able to get some villages here. Lebo's going to have to send some spears to clean this up. And he is going to push the meanwhile and play very expensively with this third town center. Get a lot of resources out of this. Tempires is a much smaller force here. Lebo's basically maxed out. Villagers being killed here actually offers him a relief in the sense that he gets more spears out to deal with the Decurions. So the Decurions are going to get cleaned up in the end here. Spear's able to hold on there with the help of the aid tent. Tempire's trying to add some towers here. He's got his age 3 on the way, adding a lot of legionaries. You can't get a good critical mass of anything here. More villagers being picked off here and more having to flee and make towers. Tempire's trying to defend here, trying to tower up as much as he can. He's still got a lot of room to gather. So Lebo just trying to get kills as efficiently as he can through this. He's gathering a little bit, struggling a little bit for wood, but overall 75 versus 49 villages, and there's basically no army for Tempires. There's 100 population difference almost. Not all the towers finishing off. Lebo's army just doing a bit of a dance here. I think he's realised Tempires will be gathering from somewhere, and he can actually start to get rams here. Quite easily, actually. You can still leave a little bit of population space to add rams. Just keep adding more bowmen and Asabara. Maybe even a handful more... Well, definitely adding a handful more spears now, because there's Echo's production from Tempires. These will be really good against the bowmen and the Asabara. Really force out spearmen. Possibly mounted archer use, but mounted archers just aren't super flexible units. They're a good raiding unit, but they just don't have the flexibility. Like, Asabara can tank as well. Which you can't really have mounted archers tank anything. 44 vills to 84 in favour of Rotten. The artist formerly known as Lebo. Immortals on the way, rams on the way. Getting broadhead arrows. You probably could do with shield rim here. It doesn't take long to train and it's pretty cheap. Just makes these guard towers and the TC itself a little bit less effective. And if Tempires gets Presidium, and I imagine he eventually will, he can even use them as a pseudo tower. Another Decurion raid. This time Lebo's pretty much maxed out on army again. It'd be hard for him to actually do anything about it without bleeding a couple of vills just to train spearmen at home. But he's that many villages ahead, it's gonna be a good thing because, you know, army size wise, if he doesn't push here, Tempires can catch up on army, even though Rotten's eco is bigger. Tempires, if he holds off, you know, all that gathering just goes down the bin. So Rotten trying to raid with the Asabara, just pull as many of the Echoes away as he can. Trying to push with his spears. Tempires, a lot of towers here though, so this front line of spears is going to fall pretty quickly. For the production of Tempires, it's in a pretty big predicament at the moment. But Spearman not going to be able to finish off the Asabara. I didn't see what ended up happening with Tempire's raid here. Oh, he's bringing it back, but it's not going to be able to hold off all the rams and bowmen here. There's immortals now as well. Spearmen still in production. Mounted archers as well. More units to deal with the Echoes. The rams trying to focus down the towers, and they're going to be able to get one of them. Maybe even the next. It's be big because it means this TC and all these buildings become a lot more threat then. Tempires hasn't got anything to raid over here with. The Decurions and the Echoes are going to trade quite well against everything except for really just the Immortals here. They sort of trade evenly, and then that one Spearman. There is more spears on the way now. It's harder and harder for Tempires to actually hold on here. They're taking out more structures, but Tempires is so down on population. Losing a few houses is actually just buying him a bit of time. He will eventually have to replace them, but for now, adding more production is the main thing. A fortress right in the opponent's base. It's like Age of Empires 2 style castling. Try and deny all the resources. Make sure he gets all the buildings here. More rams on the way, but more echoes here as well to clean up the villages at least, but the army's going to be able to clean them up. The Tempires, 61 vills to 85, can't really afford to trade army for army here. So we'll try and go for a workshop over here. Tempires' main town centre. It's a Gorner, I think. All of his H2 upgrades except for range damage, which is pretty typical of Roman players, especially if they are going to transition to Scorpios for a backline rather than Bowmen. Rotten not going to be able to finish off that fortress, but I don't think it matters. He's cleaned up so much of Tempire's base at this stage. GG. It's all over. Rotten takes the game.